Join Apostle Cint Gilstrap as she partners with Brighter Day Missions Liberia in expressing the love of God through educational empowerment, fighting for the rights of the children of Liberia, and hunger alleviation. Your love gift of any amount helps staff educators provide food for the children, educational equipment, and so much more. To partner with Apostle Cint Gilstrap with Missions to Liberia, or for more information, simply visit www.cgmenterprises.org. The seed that leaves your hand never leaves your life, but goes into your future where it multiplies.
Welcome everyone on tonight. Listen, you are in for a treat. I am excited, so excited as always as I join you all on Down to Earth Talk. I am the host on tonight and welcome you all to a no judgment platform. I'm telling you, you are in for a treat. Do me a favor before we dive into the topic of conversation on tonight. Go ahead and tag, share, invite women that you know need to be empowered. But guess what? We're not just going to leave out the women. We're not just going to talk to the women. We're also going to talk to the men. So invite some men that you know also that need to be empowered. Guess what? Everyone can use some type of empowerment. I'm excited on tonight because I have a powerful woman of God. And not only that, but watch this. She's setting the stage and the levels of education and knowledge on what she brings to the table, and she have a vast platform. I'm excited. I'm telling you on tonight, this woman of God is a mogul all by herself, and she have saw fit to take out her busy schedule to join us on a Friday night. Let me tell you, I am humbled. I am honored because she travels the world. That's right. She travels the world. But tonight she slowed down just a bit to dialogue on Down to Earth Talk, and I'm excited. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste your time because I want to hear everything that she has to speak to you all on tonight, and I'm just excited. So welcome again to Down to Earth Talk. I'm your host on tonight and your moderator, none other than Dr. Cint Gilstrap, and I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. You don't want to miss one word coming from the mouth of knowledge, the mouth of wisdom, and the mouth, watch this, of a praise and worship. She have it all. She have a testimony, she have praise, worship, and she have education and knowledge to infuse on the inside of you. So I'm excited. With that being said, come on and put your hands together for my guest on tonight, none other than the doctor herself, Dr. Tavara Johnson. Welcome to the platform, woman of God. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's definitely a pleasure, to be able to come on Down to Earth. So I'm super excited. I love the name by itself, Down to Earth. So that means you're going to have some really down to earth conversations and real organic conversations. So thank you so much for seeing fit for me to be able to grace your platform.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming. I know you're very busy, and as time permitted, I'm so honored again that you took out your time to be here with us for just a short period of time. The hour goes so fast, and who knows what's going to happen and take place. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive in the topic of conversation, because where we are now in ministry and in society is dealing with marketplace and entrepreneurship. We're dealing with coaching, all of these things. And as I begin to read your resume, you actually have your foot or your hand on every outlet. As I'm discussing or talking about on tonight, you touch something. It's amazing. You touch coaching and mentoring and entrepreneurship and the body of Christ, and it's amazing because everyone cannot do that and maintain sanity or make it look good while you're doing it. So talk to us tonight, woman of God, about empowerment. What is it? Or how do we need to get started on the journey that you got started on so that we can learn how to empower ourselves?
Well, that's a really good question. So for me personally, I believe in healing and wholeness. And so I actually started out from more or less from a single space doing healing and wholeness, because I realized that if you're not healed and whole, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to impact other people. And so I remember saying to God, I'm like, okay, I'm doing different things you have me doing, especially when I started out doing the women's empowerment event, right? So the thing about it is because I'm ministry as well, and sometimes we have people who aren't saved who come to your events. And so the key is for me is for us to be able to have fun. They're being healed and delivered at the same time. They have no idea because they're having so much fun, and they're able to digest it because, the reality is that we have to be able to reach the world. We can't just beat them over the head with, the Bible and all of these things. And so for me, I decided to do it that way. So normally when I do my events, that's usually for me how I do it. And then again, like I said, in order to be able to have a healthy life, to be happy. Like I didn't want it to be a place whereas my emotions are all over the place. Like I really wanted to have joy, right? And so I really just spend a lot of time with God. I know sometimes people think it's cliche, but really in terms of spending time with God, and you said it, like I am a worshiper, I am a praiser, like I be in here all by myself, just spending time with God. And I always said, if we could spend hours at the club, because when I wasn't saved, I used to be at the club. So if I could spend hours at the club, standing up, just dancing or waiting on a concert, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do that at home in the privacy of my own home or even in church, wherever God is. And so for me, that's how I got started on the healing and the wholeness. And again, knowing that as women, we deal with so much. There's so many issues that we're battling with, like low self-esteem, like, are we good enough? Should I utilize my voice? And then, of course, some of the things or some of the trauma that people experience in their lives. And so being able to have them at a place or bring them to a place of healing and wholeness. Of course, I'm only the catalyst, God does the work. But to be able to position myself so I'm able to be the catalyst so that they're able to get, healing and wholeness. Because again, we have a lot of sometimes women issues. We like to say women can't collaborate, women can't get along. And so I'm looking at it as if I do my part and you're able to be healed and whole, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get along with another woman out there, to be able to collaborate and do so many other things.
That's amazing that you said that. One thing that you said that kind of stuck out to me, and is having the relationship with God. And many times, two parts actually, having a relationship with God because you are a praiser, you are worship. So with that relationship, it helps to enforce who you are and the gifts that you actually bring to a table. But another thing is this: people often, and in the body of Christ, they said the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. All you hear that scripture. It's like a cliche. However, what they're not doing is connecting the dots. If the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just or stored up for the just, then you have to commingle. You have to be open enough to actually say, I'm going to the events where we know where powerful millionaires are, or people that's releasing the knowledge. They may not have the same religious belief that I have, but they have knowledge that they can now infuse on the inside of me. So with that being said, because that's a very hot topic and subject, what would you share with the people tonight on allowing them or teaching them or helping them to bring down those walls and begin to come out of the shadow or the four walls of the church and enter into these different conferences? Although everybody is not serving, the same God, but they have what they need. What would you say to that audience?
Well, the thing about it is when we go in the workplace, for example, we're commingling with people who aren't saved. We're commingling with people who serve another gods. I mean, that's the reality of it. But this particular one is very kind of like tricky. And I would say for some persons, if God sent you, go. If he didn't send you, don't go. Because at the end of the day, wherever God didn't send you, you're not able to make an impact. If he sent you, then you're able to make an impact. Now, we did see that, God, of course, himself or Jesus, he would have commingled with persons who weren't saved, but my thing is your light has to shine. Now, the problem comes in when you go in certain environments and your light doesn't shine. That's a problem. You're going to be compromising who you are or who you know that God has called you to be. So I encourage persons to say, listen, like I said, if God sent you, go. If he didn't send you, then don't go. Because if he sent you, he's endowed with the power and just everything that you need to even impact these people. Who knows? And then you may be able to bring change in their lives. They may not serve the same God that you serve, but by the time that you've loved on them, or God told you to pray for them, whatever he told you to do, then who knows? It's our actions what helps to change the hearts of men. And so that would be my advice to persons. But if God didn't send you, don't go.
That's amazing that you said that, and it's so true, because I only want to go where God sent me, because I know that it's him that's backing me. So just like you said, when you walk into the arena of people, then you shift the atmosphere, and you have no idea whose life you would impact. You have no idea your presence or what it could do. A simple smile, a hug, or handshake, even introducing your name, because believe it or not, most people that are entrepreneurs and leaders in the body of Christ are introverts. And so you have to come out of your shell, or, from underneath your umbrella, or underneath, that protection coat of mechanism that you walk in, just to be yourself. So we have to learn how to embrace that. This is my takeaway. Many people miss their blessing because of the fact they're looking for a believer or Christian event, when God said, I'm sending you in the den of the lions, or I'm sending you in the arena where everybody's not saved. But with that being said, we're going to take a 5-minute break, not even 5 minutes. We'll be right back. I'm telling you, I'm excited, because we're getting ready to dive into an area and a topic of discussion I know that's going to literally wake somebody up. I'm in the season of my life, Dr. Tavara, and I don't know about you, but waking up people that has been sleeping for too long is just where we need to be. Our job and our duty, especially yours, is to empower. And once you empower someone, it brings them to life. You resuscitate them. And so I'm excited about it. But we'll be right back. So we'll stay tuned. Stay tuned to these messages. And I'm telling you, this is Dr. Cint Gilstrap. I'm your host and moderator on tonight. None other than my very phenomenal guest, Dr. Tavara Johnson herself. We'll be right back.
Dr. Cint Gilstrap presents Down to Earth Talk, conversations that inspires, educates, and are thought-provoking. Don't miss Down to Earth Talk, streaming live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's Down to Earth Talk with Dr. Cint Gilstrap.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining Down to Earth Talk on tonight. I'm telling you, I am so excited, because we have a hot topic, and we have a phenomenal woman that's here tonight. She is a business mogul. I'm telling you, she wears so many hats. You all that are on social media, you probably are friends with her. You probably commented on some things she's said, stated, her beautiful, amazing pictures, but she's with us tonight, and we're talking about empowering not only women, but also empowering men. And I'm telling you, I'm excited about the conversation. As we were going to a commercial break, we began to talk about those that are in leadership positions, are people that even have been wounded in life and have built up walls. We need you all to bring those walls down so you can receive it on tonight. She's here to give us instructions and directions, as well as guidance on what we need to do to follow her lead, that these doors of opportunity will open up for us, where we will no longer be sleeping, but will now come away. Dr. Tavara.
All right, so we're talking about the vein of leadership, or the leaders. I believe, again, remember earlier I talked about the healing and the wholeness, right? So everyone needs some of that. And we know sometimes as leaders, you go through so much. I mean, and you you pray with people, you fast with people. I mean, they kick you in your back. I mean, they do all manner of things. But at the end of the day, I realize it's still a teachable moment. You're still required to love them, right? You know, think I always say Jesus was betrayed by Judas, right? He knew that Judas was going to betray him, but he still loved him.
Yes.
You know, he still broke bread with him, you know. But as a leader, you definitely have to have that healing and wholeness, because I do believe that it affects the way in which you lead people. And, you know, it's hard to lead people who you don't like, right? You have to be able to like the people in order to effectively lead them, because if you don't, you won't open up doors for them. You know, you would close certain doors. You just won't do a lot of things. And so, like for me, for example, like I went through a lot of things as it relates to leadership, dealing with different types of people. I would say that, but I didn't allow it to make me bitter. I didn't want to be a bitter person. I didn't want to be a bad person.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? I don't want to be like them. Clearly, they have internal issues that they need to address, and I don't need to be doing that. All right. So I made it a point to make sure that it didn't get in my heart. So my prayer is always to God, and I would recommend to anybody, anytime someone does you something, always say to God, don't allow it to get in my heart. And you have to go to him. You know, we may have a tendency to want to rile people out or fuss them or whatever whatever you want to call it. But my thing is, you still have to go to him, tell him not to let it get in your heart. And then whatever people do to you, always remain respectful, right? I always say this: you could respect the chair even if you don't respect the people. At the end of the day, you're still required to honor. You know, David honored Saul by not killing him, even though he knew that Saul was trying to kill him. And so sometimes you may be faced with those type of situations, but the blessing comes in being able to still honor people, even when they don't do right by you. You know, to still be able to pray for them, even when they don't do right by you. Even when we look at the scripture of Job, right, it said that God turned Job captivity when he prayed for his friends. So he had to pray for these people. He didn't do anything. You know, they were saying all manner of things, mocking him, and so many different things that they were saying. Maybe, no, you had to do something wrong, blaming him about all of these different things. But at the end of the day, God turned his captivity once he would have prayed for them. And so, you know, being in leadership, especially, people think that it's easy. Leadership it's serving. It's requiring you to, like you said, like to come outside your comfort zone, to love people when you don't want to love them, to still treat them right, so honor them. And so these are all things for me personally. You know, I'm telling you what I've done, you know, and these are the things that have allowed doors to open for me. So I've seen whenever people try to close doors on me, God would say, okay, well, let me open this door over here for you. You know, but again, that came with honor because I didn't retaliate. That's another thing. You have to get into the space where you don't retaliate. You allow God to literally, I mean, we say it all the time, but God fights our battles. But are you really going to allow him to fight those battles for you when those hard situations come? You know, when you want to retaliate. And so I'm only giving you advice and telling you things what I personally done and what has helped me, you know, even as a leader, and realize that leadership is all about serving. You're there to serve people. You're not there to be served. Jesus, he still served his disciples. He trained them. He equipped them. You know, that is one of the greatest forms of leadership, or even coaching, mentoring. I mean, these are the things what he did. He washed their feet. I mean, like, this is what he did, you know, and so he displayed humility. And of course, as a leader, you have to be humble. Yes. You know, a lot of the leaders tend to get prideful and feel like, well, you know, I'm the leader, I'm the boss, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, your greatest asset is your human resources, which is the people. If they don't do anything, or if they're not functioning, then how are you going to be successful?
Yes.
You know, and so that's some of the advice that I have for them, especially people who are leaders. And I'm only telling you what I myself have lived through.
I love it. I love it. You're sharing some valuable information because people need to know these things. One thing you said that's unfortunate, and that is a lot of leaders are not humble. Let me say that they're not humble. It's unfortunate that we deal with people of that caliber, but it teaches us how to be strong or how to have tough skin. I know plenty of times that I've had to turn my back, just as you stated, and let God fight the battle, and just, you know, put my hands down and take my hands off of it and just turn it over to him and say, God, you know what, this battle right here, definitely belong to you. And lo
Yes.
and behold, he'll open another door, or he'll, divinely connect you with someone else that have a
Yes.
like mind. And that's what I want to touch on next. Being around people that have a like mindset, and people
Yes.
that are not negative but willing to push you and not deal. Wait a minute, let's just start over. Not only push you, but not be jealous of you and not compete with you, but is excited about your success and your advancement.
Yes.
Those type of people. And so, how do we now remove ourselves from the negativity and people that have a defiant attitude or personality into someone that's now positive, without us dealing with the definition of you think you're better than me? All of those things that
Yeah.
you confronted with as you climb the ladder of success. Is your advice to those type of people?
Well, so first of all, like you talked about, like being around like-minded people, right? You have to have that community. As it relates to getting rid of the toxic people, I always tell God, remove them, because sometimes I don't want to have to do it. But I would be honest and say, I don't know how many people who are watching are like me, right? But one of the things God does with me, even before there is a disconnection, I already know. So I already know, I've dealt with it, internally, because you do have, there's feelings that comes along with having to disconnect from
Mhm.
people, or even people who you once started with. You guys were, kind of like on that same level, and you begin to spend more time with God. More doors start to open up for you, and there are certain things that happen for them, so they feel some type of way. And so, but what I do, I just tell God, listen, you do the disconnecting. I don't want to have to deal with it too much, right? And so what happens is that when they are now processing what is happening, I've already dealt with that, right? And so I encourage people to, one, ask God to disconnect you from people, especially if you have a hard time disconnecting from people, or if you just really don't want to have to deal with all of it. Because once He does a disconnection, it's going to be a good, a great way. Or if He says to you, listen, it's time for you to cut it out, because if you don't, it is going to get real nasty, just so the disconnection could happen. I always tell people, if He tells you to do it, then you basically go ahead and cut it. As it relates to you know being around positive people, you find that community. Don't be intimidated by persons who may know more than you. They may have more money than you, more success. And these are the people that you should want to be around to learn from.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always say, sometimes people talk about being the smartest person in the room. No, sometimes you don't need to be the smartest person, in the room, so that you're able to learn from these people and be able to, climb levels of success. I do believe that mentorship helps. Coaching helps, because all of that helps you to cultivate who you are, but even find the right set of people to be around, because your mindset changes, your mindset shift, and you realize that the appetite that you once had, it annoys you, it frustrates you. You realize that it was only stagnating you. And so, once the appetite shift to say, hey, I want more for me, or I want to be better, then you're going to find yourself now even seeking out other people, who you're able to connect with, or God would divinely connect you to them. But I would want to say, don't be intimidated by them. If you are dealing with jealousy, one of the things I realize is that as long as you continue to climb, as long as you continue to do the things of God, jealousy, that's a spirit. That's
Yes.
not going anywhere. So you
Mhm.
just have to realize and listen, more or less come to the realization and say, this is who I am. This is who God has made me to be. I desire for more, and just look at it as just noise. All of that is just distractions. So all of these things, when people are upset with you, and even when, like you mentioned, when they say, oh, you think you better than me, listen, just simply say to them, I never said that, you said that. That they're putting their projections of how they feel on you. And so come to realize that a lot of things that people are saying, it's the inner turmoil that they're dealing with. So it's really them, and it's not you. You're not responsible for how they feel, but you are responsible for how you react to how they feel. And
That's so
so
true.
I would say, just whatever God tell you to do, just go ahead and rock with him who he called you to be. Be confident in that, because once you are sure of who you are, sure of who God has called you to be, all of these other noise, distractions that come, it wouldn't even matter to you anymore.
I love it. I love it. You're giving me some very important information, especially for those that are just now starting out in entrepreneurship or marketplace. They need to know these things. And as childish as it may sound to other people, these are some adversities that they definitely will be approached with. And so
Yes.
you have to know how to maneuver around the adverse situations and conditions.
Yes.
There are going to be times where you enter in inclement weather based on the environment of the atmosphere, but we have to be mindful that God made us trees, and we have to be like a tree planted by the rivers of living waters.
Yes.
And if God opened up the door for us to be in the room, then that's where we're supposed to be. With that being said, we're getting ready to go to a commercial break. I'm very excited. This is Down to Earth Talk with none other than Dr. Cint Gilstrap on a Friday night, and I'm excited to have my guest on tonight, Dr. Tavara Johnson, and I'm Tavara Johnson. I apologize, but I'm so excited because this woman of God brings a vast of information, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to this platform. This is again Down to Earth, and this is a no judgment platform. We're excited on tonight for the topic of conversation. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dr. Cint Gilstrap presents Down to Earth Talk, conversations that inspires, educates, and are thought-provoking. Don't miss Down to Earth Talk, streaming live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's Down to Earth Talk with Dr. Cint Gilstrap. Join Apostle Cint Gilstrap as she partners with Brighter Day Missions Liberia in expressing the love of God through educational empowerment, fighting for the rights of the children of Liberia, and hunger alleviation. Your love gift of any amount helps staff educators, provide food for the children, educational equipment, and so much more. To partner with Apostle Cint Gilstrap with Missions to Liberia, or for more information, simply visit www.cgmenterprises.org. The seed that leaves your hand never leaves your life, but goes into your future where it multiplies.
Well. Listen, we're on the other side now, and I'm excited. This is Dr. Cint Gilstrap, and we're Down to Earth Talk on a Friday night in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am excited about this conversation. Whenever you begin to talk about empowerment, that's infusing or resuscitating either something lying dormant in a person or something that they don't know exists. And the woman is here, the mogul. She wears so many hats. I tell you, she's a coach, she's a mentor, she's just a philanthropist. She had the right to be called doctor, and I'm excited to have her on tonight, Dr. Tavara Johnson. So welcome again to this platform. We were in the middle of talking about things to empower not only women, but things to empower men. On tonight, woman, Dr. Johnson, share with the audience real briefly, at what point did you make a decision? At what point did you make a decision to step out on faith and say, you know what, I'm going to do this to better my life? Because we have a lot of people that's listening. We have a lot of people that's watching, that's still operating fear, knowing they have a gift, knowing that they've been empowered or infused in some sort of way down through, the years of their life, but they're still afraid. What would you say to the audience on tonight?
Well, definitely, if there's someone who's constantly spending time with God, he's going to endow you with the confidence, right? Always continue to pray for boldness. But one of the things I had to do, because I remember initially, like when I started doing so much and, the flyers are coming out and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to say she's out there with another flyer again. Then I got to the space where I was like, listen, I'm doing whatever God say I have to do. Who don't like it, that's their business. I'm just responsible for doing whatever I have to do. And so I want to say to people to even in the times when you are uncertain, or even in the times when you may feel a little afraid, we do know that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind, but still go ahead and move. So it's almost like you still do it afraid, and I always say once God has given it to you, once you have the knowledge, the expertise, whatever it may be, yes, you may have a little nerves, but once you push whatever there, if God tells you to speak or whatever it may be, He's going to be backing you. You know, we have to understand that as long as God tells us to do something, He is backing us without a shadow. Like, we have to be confident in knowing that that's what He's doing. And so you just have to go ahead and step out. And then what happens is that when you know that you deserve more, when your spirit is yearning for more, you become frustrated, right? And so the frustration, and this is what happened to me, the frustration actually drove me to continue to do what God was saying to me, because I knew that there was more. I knew that certain things God was not going to do unless I stepped out on faith. You know, a lot of times, you know, we are praying for a whole lot of things to happen, but the Bible pretty much tells like we have to, you know, we have to do the work, right? People want to have the faith, but they don't want to put anything into action. I always say this all the time. If God told you to do something and you didn't do it, He's not going to give you something else to do until you've done the first thing that He gave you to do. You know, so a lot of people saying, God, give me something to do, but you didn't do what He tell you to do yet. You know, and so in us listening to Him, and as we begin to move, we're actually walking out a process, right? No one likes process. Process isn't easy. We don't know how long the process is going to be, but you're walking out the process. So as you continue, as He gives you instructions and you move, you know, it is a constant moving, it is a constant walking, right? And we have the trust that He's before us, that He's clearing the path. And He said He you know, make the crooked path straight. We have to believe that, you know. And so I encourage persons to, if God give you something to do it, even afraid. You know, if you're afraid, still do it. Find someone who can hold you accountable. I remember when I first started, you know, one of my friends, she used to message me, hey, did you put the fly out yet? Hey, did you do this yet? You know, and the thing about it, she would actually do it on my Facebook. And she would say, hey, I'm waiting, right? And so I knew exactly what that meant. She was calling me out. But these are the people who you have to have around you. And you can't get upset when they're pushing you. So see, we all want to be pushed, right? But when the pushing comes and it feels uncomfortable, it's like, oh no, you're not giving me chance. No. This is what happens, right? So do it afraid if you have to. If you really desire to see the hand of God move in your life, I mean, you're not just doing for the hand of God, but to get to the place that He desires you to be, you're just going to have to do it. Because if you don't, you're just going to really stay stuck and stagnate in that place. So think about it. Do you want to be moving, even if you're afraid, or do you want to remain stagnated? So that's the question that you have to answer. And based on that answer, I'll let you know if you're going to move forward or if you're going to remain stagnated.
That is so true, and that is so good. I'm reminded about the one in the Bible, in the book of Mark, that took his talent and hid it in the earth. And God said, you know what? You didn't work for it. I gave it to you. You didn't ask me for it. I gave it to you. I gave you everything that you need, and you still saw fit to hide your talent in the earth. Give me your talent, and I'm going to give it to somebody else. So we have to be so mindful that when God blesses us with a gift or a talent, that we begin to utilize it. Just like you said, even if we're afraid to start afraid. Because you have to start somewhere. I am a huge believer that when I leave the earth and my eyes close, that I want to be empty. So whatever it takes to empty out the vessel that I reside in, then I believe in and trust in God to do that. And you so true when you said, Dr. Johnson, you said that people say, God, give me something to do. And God said, well, you haven't done the first thing.
Yeah.
You still waiting on me to give you something else. And I say the same thing about the prophetic. People love prophecy.
Yeah.
But you still holding on prophecy from 20 years ago. And you, just like you said earlier, you didn't put the work to the faith, and it's still sitting in the same place. But yet you want to say someone is a lying prophet. They wasn't a lying prophet. You didn't put faith with works. So it's still sitting there. I'm telling you, this has been a topic, and I know the time goes so fast when we're on discussions or on Down to Earth, and I'm just excited because people need to hear this information. My takeaway from tonight is whatever you do, you have to have a plan of action. You cannot do it afraid. And if you are afraid, just go ahead and start the process. Have a relationship with God. Put him first. Your praise and your worship, it matters. Another
Yes.
thing is, if he give you the vision, make sure you have like-minded people around you. But
Yes.
I'm so excited that you have shared so many gold nuggets with us on tonight. I wish we had more time, but I understand the time has passed along. But I'm telling you, before you leave the call on tonight, what are your last words that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, you said something that I wanted to kind of go back to when you talked about the talents, right? And hiding and then God, saying, hey, well, almost say give me this, but kind of give me it back, so to speak. But what I want to say to people is that you don't want to be a replacement. You don't want God to replace you.
Wow.
So if he gives you something to do,
Ooh.
do it. I always say, whether we choose to collaborate with God or not, what he has to get done is going to get done, whether you are a willing participant or not. And then also understand that when God has given you something, it's not for him, it's for us, right? He talked about the abundant life that he has for us. I don't know about you, but I want to experience that abundant life here. I know we talk about people talk about when they go into glory and everything else, but listen, while I'm here, I want to experience that here, and he desires for us to experience those things here, like the abundant life and the success and the wealth. There's so much different things, because he says, I give you the power to create wealth. That's what he said. So we don't even need to be afraid of wealth. Some people are, they feel like, you're saved, you shouldn't be wealthy. I mean, and wealth comes in a whole lot of, it's not just money, but, just joy and so much more.
Right.
But, I really want to encourage persons that if he give you something to do, go ahead and do it. You never know where it's going to take you. You never know who you're going to impact with it. You just really never know, trust that. He says, I know the plans that I have for you in Jeremiah 29:11. Trust that he knows the plans that he has for you. Trust that he has the blueprint. Only God has the blueprint for our lives. We don't have it. He gives us little bits and pieces, like we get a whole little trailer, but we really don't know all of it, And so even when you come to times where, like I said, times of uncertainty, like, oh my God, you told me to do this, and I want to stop there and say, it's not God will tell you to do something, and it will seem like, hey, like it's not moving, like you're not successful. All of this is a period of testing, and so every level he's going to test us on. He's going to build your character. He's going to build your integrity, because as you begin to continue to climb the ladder of success, if you're complaining about dealing with these little things on ground level, when you get to the top floor,
Oh my God,
you're going to have a serious problem, and God want to make sure that anything that he gives you, that you don't waste it, you don't squander it, that you remain successful, and most importantly, that you don't look like a fool, So most people, they get to the top and then they look crazy, and you're like, oh my God, but this is why God gives us the tests, the trials, and he allows it to happen just to build us up, so when that time comes, and he wants to give you this, when he talk about doing exceedingly abundantly, he want to make sure that you're prepared for it, that you would handle it correctly. Most people want a lot of blessings, they're not prepared to handle it at all, and he doesn't want it to kill you, because if you're not careful, what should be a blessing to you, you will say, oh my God, this is a curse on me, or this is a curse. No. God loves us. So if he tells you to do something, I admonish you to go ahead and do it. So that's my final words.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. I'm excited. Thank you. So much information. I tell you, I knew it. I wish you had more time, because I'm telling you, I have 1,000 more questions, but the time has expired, and you listen.
Whenever you're ready, I'll be back. Whenever you're ready. Let me go.
Thank you. I didn't even have to ask, because I was getting ready to say,
whenever you're ready.
I am so excited. So thank you on tonight. Those that desire to reach out to you, do you have your contact information for the audience on tonight?
Yes, and so thank you so much for having me. It was definitely a pleasure. Like I said, whenever you're ready, just let me know. For those who want to reach out to me, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can reach with Tavara Johnson or talk to Tavara Johnson. My email is info@tavarajohnson.com, as well as my website is tavarajohnson.com. I look forward to connecting with you all and, just loving on you all.
Listen, she has so many platforms. A few that I want to talk about is her Emergence. She have radio station. She also own her own magazine. So she have so many different platforms, and she's also a mentor. She's also a life coach. And I'm telling you, she's also connected with Maxwell Leadership. So she has so many opportunities, avenues to help educate those that are ready or looking to be empowered. So you all do me a favor and reach out to Dr. Tavara Johnson. I'm telling you, I'm excited. Thank you again for gracing us with your presence. I'm so honored on a Friday night that you saw fit to stop by Down to Earth Talk and just have a discussion with us. Again, listen, audience, you need to go back and tag and share, invite somebody, because we want you all to be empowered. This is the platform that would do just that. I'm excited. Again, we've run out of time. We have no time left, but I am Dr. Cint Gilstrap, and this is Down to Earth Talk. Our very own guest on tonight, Dr. Tavara Johnson. Thank you again, one more time, for blessing us and gracing us with your presence on tonight. Have a wonderful, powerful, prosperous night. Goodbye, everybody. Until next time. Down to Earth Talk. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Down to Earth Talk with Dr. Cint Gilstrap. This episode is brought to you by VOC Magazine, Voices of Champions. If you would like to be a sponsor or advertise on this show, visit www.cgmenterprises.com for more information. Dr. Cint Gilstrap presents Down to Earth Talk, conversations that inspires, educates, and are thought-provoking. Don't miss Down to Earth Talk, streaming live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's Down to Earth Talk with Dr. Cint Gilstrap. For more information how you can be a guest on Down to Earth, simply visit www.cintgilstrapministries.com.